everybody, my name is Erin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a new kind of video, for me at least, and I'm going to call it Search the Shelves. Alright, so here's how it's going to work. I put a bunch of random tropes and topics on a spinning wheel, and whichever one it lands on, I'm going to search my shelves to find books that fit in that category. So let's take a look at the wheel and the topic. So here's my wheel of tropes and topics that I'm going to look for on my shelves to recommend and to kind of dig through some old favorites. So I have fighting families, rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers, animal companions, sidekick, elementary books, happily ever after, undead, retellings, quests, chosen one, forbidden love. So lots of good options. Let's see what we're going to talk about first. Looks like forbidden love is our first topic. So let's go see what I have on my shelf. So it looks like we got forbidden love for today's trope. Sorry, my cat is chasing around a fly. So if you hear anything strange, that's him. My cat is not a skilled hunter, so this could take a while. I went ahead and pulled 6. One's an audiobook, but it still counts as being on my shelf. So let's get started. These aren't in any particular order. First book is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. So first of all, beautiful cover. This is a duology, I believe. I have not read the second book, but in this first one, we definitely have forbidden love. It starts out with our 2 main characters. There is the prince, who each night marries a new girl, and each morning he kills them. So we follow our main character, Shahrazad, whose best friend was taken by the prince as a wife and killed the next morning. She's pretty angry about it, rightfully so. And she wants to figure out what's going on, because there has to be a story here. She volunteers to be the next girl to become his wife, and she knows that she has to make it through the night, and ends up doing so by telling him a story that he's dying to know the end of. And so the longer he keeps her alive, the more she learns the secrets. They get to know each other. She learns the reasoning behind why all of this is happening, and that maybe he isn't as bad as he seems, and they fall in love. Unfortunately, him breaking the cycle and keeping her around longer than he was supposed to can have some dire consequences. That's where I consider this forbidden love. He's not supposed to fall in love with any of his wives. They are serving a different purpose. I liked this book. I think there are a few things that maybe held me back a little bit, but I'm excited to read the second one. I just got to get my hands on it, and it's kind of far down on my TBR. But I did enjoy the relationships in this book, and I enjoyed the direction the plot was heading. I'm curious to see how it all turns out. Next up, I have Winter by Marissa Meyer, and I'm just going to use this book to represent a few of the books in the Lunar Chronicles, because I think the first book, Cinder, is definitely a forbidden romance, and this one kind of is too. The first book, you have Cinder, who is part robot, part human, and she falls in love with the prince, but the prince doesn't know that she is, has mechanical and, has a mysterious background that makes her love even more forbidden, especially considering that the Lunar Queen also wants to marry the prince. There's definitely hints of forbidden love there. We also have Winter, which involves a soldier falling in love with his princess. Not supposed to happen. I will admit it's a bit of a stretch. This series is such a fun read that I wanted to fit it in somewhere, and it works. Definitely recommend picking this up if you like fantasy. It's a great mix of retelling and sci-fi and twists on different versions of things. There's really good romance in each book, and the characters and the friendships that they form just really carry on throughout. There's a lot of good tropes in this series if you're looking for it. After that, my audiobook for this is The Great Hunt by Wendy Higgins. This follows a kingdom where the magic is forbidden. And if you are someone who uses that magic, your fingernails become bruised and turn purple, and that's how people know if you're a magic user. Things kind of change when beasts start attacking the kingdom, and the king can't figure out exactly what's going on. So he offers a reward for anyone who captures and kills the beast, and puts on a festival championship tournament kind of thing. The winner, whoever kills the beast, gets his daughter's hand in marriage. And as she's kind of being paraded around the arena of all these warriors, she spots one that catches her attention. Paxton is, very charming, a little bit of a rebel and a bad boy, and he really isn't interested in marriage at all. He is purely here to claim the glory of capturing and killing the beast, but he has his own secrets, and as he and the princess get to know each other and inevitably fall in love, there are a lot of things that end up coming between them. This is the first book in a series, and again, I haven't finished this series because I have a problem with not finishing. But this was a good first book. It definitely ended a little bit differently than I thought it was going to. So if you're looking for that forbidden love with a little bit of a twist, this could be a good one. I'm going to switch up a little bit and move on to a sci-fi graphic novel. This one is pretty popular on the booktube community. It is Saga. This is volume 1, and it starts off right off the bat with a ton of action and drama. And we find that these two characters are on two opposite sides of a war. They are both soldiers that have deserted and fallen in love. I think, in fact, that she was the guard and he was the prisoner. And now they have a baby. So, very cute story. Unfortunately, they have to find a way off their planet because both sides of the war are looking for them. They don't want people knowing that things can go well between these two groups of people because then there would be no war, Their love is forbidden and they are on the run. The graphics in this are pretty cool. There are a lot of great alien species depicted in this, so if you're looking for a forbidden love graphic novel, Saga is a good one for you. Okay, we're down to our last two. The next one up is one that I read in high school, maybe? So really going back a ways. In fact, published in 2005. This is Megan Mead's Guide to the McGowan Boys by Kate Bryan. In this book, Megan's dad is in the army and is being sent to South Korea. She does not want to go, so her family allows her to stay with a close family friend who has 7 sons, no daughters. So she's put into a totally different situation, and the brothers, I think, range from 3 and 4 to college, maybe? And, of course, she falls for 2 of the brothers. Can't figure out which one she likes. One's the popular, cool jock, and the other one's the broody, angsty painter. And, she's living with them, so she's obviously not supposed to be dating any of them or falling for them. Just a good, wholesome YA romance. I mean, look at what they're wearing in the picture. Does that not scream 2000s? The last step on my list of forbidden love is a pure romance, and that is The Reluctant Heiress by Ava Ibbotson. So in this book, you have Tessa, who is an heiress but doesn't act like one or even really consider herself one. She's depicted as being very whimsical. She loves the theater. She goes wholeheartedly into any artsy thing that she does. She is willing to go above and beyond to help people to the point where it sometimes is detrimental to herself. And one night at the theater, she meets Guy. I do not like that name for a character, but in this book, it's passable. And Guy is engaged to someone already. He is wealthy himself, and so he meets this scrawny little girl covered in paint who has just chopped off her hair to make a wig for the play, and for some reason can't seem to get her out of his mind, but he's engaged, right? They realize, though, that his fiancée is really just with him for the money, and as they start spending time together planning the wedding and redoing his house, they start to develop some feels. And Guy realizes that he is marrying his fiancée for all the wrong reasons. Things have changed between them, but he doesn't feel like he can break it off because he's a gentleman. So they have quite a predicament on their hands. Definitely 100% forbidden love. You're engaged, buddy. It all works out in the end because this is a wholesome romance. So here are my forbidden love books from my shelf. Quite a few good ones, I would say. All of these were pretty mid to high ratings for me. I think my favorite of the bunch would probably be the Lunar Chronicles, although it's probably the least amount of forbidden love. It's definitely worth a read. I hope you like this series. I'm hoping to kind of do this maybe once a month until we get through all the topics on my spinning wheel. just to give you a closer look at my shelves and give me a chance to pull out some of my old favorites. Let me know what your favorite forbidden romance book is, because I could use a few more. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.